This Thursday, July 4th, MLB Betting Picks edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. You can win up to 325 times your entry with their new Pick 8. Sign up with promo code MLB SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Make sure you use that promo code MLB SGPN. And we're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get the best data-driven props picks from Rhythm. Claim your 7-day free trial by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. Welcome, everyone, to the MLB Gambling Podcast, part of the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. Wednesday, July the 3rd, here to get into the July 4th MLB betting picks. Of course, being it Independence Day, we have games starting very, very early all throughout the day, so it should be a great day, not only to celebrate Independence Day, spend time with family and friends, but also watch baseball all day, and we'll get into all the games that are on the schedule for Thursday. But joining me here to help me break everything down on the Diamond for July 4th, got my guy here with me. It's Dylan Rockford. D-Rock, how's it going, my man?
Oh, it's doing well. Finally ended the workday, so we're off to a nice 4-day weekend. And yeah, usually we got a day game start around like 1, but they start bright and early tomorrow. I think around 11 a.m. Eastern. So Can't wait to get into it.
Yeah, our first game does kick off at 11:06 Eastern time tomorrow. The Nationals, they will be hosting the Mets. But yeah, we got games starting every about. That's an early game, but then the next game's around 12:36 Eastern time, and then about majority of the games they're starting around 1 o'clock Eastern time. But yeah, should be a lot of fun going through the games here. Got lines, I believe, for all the games for the Thursday card. So definitely excited to get into the card here for Thursday. And we'll kick it right off here. We'll get started here with the first game on the board. Like I mentioned, it's going to be Dylan's Mets. They are in the nation's capital to take on the Washington Nationals. Jose Quintana getting the start here for the New York Mets, and it will be Jake Irvin for the Washington Nationals. Looking at the lines for this game, I'm currently seeing it is minus 108 on both sides on the money line. Total for this game is sitting at 9.5 with juice towards the over at minus 115 here. D-Rock, you want to lead us off with your Mets against the Nationals?
Yes, sir. I'm going to take the Mets here to close it out and close this series out. But what I even like more is their team total, around 4.5 or 5, whatever you could get. The Mets on the road averaging 5.74 runs per game, the most in the league. Last 5 games, the Mets have scored 34 runs. It's actually incredible what they're doing. They rake on the road. And Jake Irvin, he hasn't performed well at home this season. I don't trust the offense of the Nationals right now. They're struggling at home, and especially against a lefty. So I think this is a good spot for the Mets and their offense to keep it going, even for Jose Quintana to get back into things and get back in the win column. So I think the Mets keep it rolling. Minus 108. I love that price. I made them a minus 115 favorite. I just like their team total over as well.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the offense has been absolutely raking thus far this season. And Quintana, I mean, not a huge strikeout guy. He's had a couple of he had a great game against the Cubs, but who's not these days? Also bounced back with 7 strikeouts against the Houston Astros in his last start. Only lasted 4 innings in that game, but the Mets have won 4 straight starts when Quintana has started for the Mets. That was against the Phillies, the Padres, the Cubs, and then the Astros in his last start. You take a look at Jake Irvin on the other side for the Washington Nationals, 6-6 on the season, 3.03 ERA. He's actually been really good over his last 5 starts as well. Just had 1 hiccup against the Arizona Diamondbacks, where he did allow 4 earned runs in 5 innings in that game. But other than that, the Nationals have won 4 of those 5 games where he's pitched in. So I think the one thing that stuck out to me is that Jake Irvin did have a start. I want to say, I think it was this season, if I'm not mistaken. It was last season. Against the Mets, Jake Irvin got blown up 4 2/3, 6 hits, 6 earned runs that he gave up in that game. So I think that you're right about the Mets. I would like the Mets team total over in this game. Maybe the over in general, it being an early start time and, ball could be carrying, uh, especially with the sun beaming down, right? So I think that there's an opportunity for the runs being scored here. But I'll be on the Mets side here with you as well. Mets team total would be my favorite play in this game. Before we get over to the next game on the schedule here, let me remind everyone to make sure you guys check out the latest episode of the Sports Gambling Podcast. Stories is out on Patreon, and the guys do a forensic files deep dive on the Bobby Petrino motorcycle accident that cost him his job. Plus, make sure you guys check out our WNBA Gambling Podcast, as Terrell and Scott have started off red hot with their locks. All right, we'll keep it rolling here for the next game on the schedule. We'll start, or we'll go to Pittsburgh, where the St. Louis Cardinals are visiting the Pittsburgh Pirates. Looking at the projected pitchers for this game, I am currently seeing Martin Perez, the home starter here for the Pirates, and it'll be Andre Palante for the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals are a minus 122 road favorite here, plus 104 on the money line for the Pirates. Total is at 8.5 in this game here. D-Rock, you want to lead us off with this one?
Yeah, I got you. We will go. I don't know how we can't take the Cardinals here. You know, they've owned the Pirates this season. And Martin Perez, we mentioned it, his first start coming back against the Braves. He did not look good. He's just not really someone I want to back right now. He looked awful in his first start coming back from IL, and the Pirates bullpen hasn't been good either. So regardless of how long he could go, I don't trust that bullpen. And Andre Palat, you know, he's been serviceable in the month of June. I do trust him a little more than I do the Pirates. Cardinals are playing better right now. I trust this offense much more than I do the Pirates. So I'll lean here with the Cardinals. Minus 122. I made him a minus 135 favorite. So I'm gonna, you know, me and Mal, we were kind of trying to fade the Cardinals, but they keep proving us wrong. They're playing some good baseball right now. So I'm gonna continue that trend. I'm gonna back the Cardinals here.
Yeah, Martin Perez first start was definitely a rough one, and it was going up against the Braves in that start. Well, nice welcome back for him. He only lasted 4 innings in that game, gave up 6 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, and 2 walks in that game. So I want to say he's done pretty well against the Cardinals, but it wouldn't be just a very small sample size for Martin Perez against the Cardinals here. Let me just double check. Yeah, so he had 1 start last season, 7 shutout innings, 3 hits he allowed in that start. But again, I'm a little bit weary, like you mentioned, with guys coming off of the IL. I want to see at least 3 starts under their belts before I can, consider backing them or looking at their stats and see how they look. And Andre Palante here he's been a little bit inconsistent. You take a look at his last start, phenomenal outing against the Reds, but then he got blown up by the Giants in 5 1/3, gave up 5 earned runs against the Astros. Okay, the Astros offense has started to click here a little bit, but he had pretty good starts with the Rockies, the Cubs, and the Reds there. So I think, the Cardinals may be the side here. I wouldn't be able to talk you off of over in this game either. Whether you want to look at the Cardinals team total to go over or even the full game to go over at 8.5 in this game. We'll move it along to the next. Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. Sorry, Munaf. ESPN Bet does a good job at putting out the team totals. So if you are looking at a team total for them, they are out on ESPN. I was looking at the Mets while you were talking. It's at 4.5. I put it in the chat for everyone. So it is at 4.5 right now.
There we go. Love it. Our next game on the schedule will go over to a 1:06 Eastern start time. We have the Cincinnati Reds. They are visiting the New York Yankees. It'll be Frankie Montas getting the start here for the Cincinnati Reds, and it'll be Marcus Stroman on the mound for the New York Yankees. Yankees are a minus 178 home favorite here, plus 150 on the money line for the Reds. Total is at 8.5 in this game here. Dylan, what do you got for Reds and Yankees?
Yeah, I do like the Yankees here tomorrow. This is just a complete fade on Frankie Montas. The Reds have only won 1 of his last 10 starts, and that win was against the Rockies. I mean, one of the worst teams in the league. Both pitchers, they do have a walk problem, so maybe you want to look, if you're like player props, maybe look towards a walk prop for either Stroman or Montas. They both walk a lot of batters. Reds did win the first game of the series yesterday, and Now the Yankees, they're kind of been back and forth, winning games then losing, kind of been inconsistent here. But I do think this is a good spot for the Yankees at home. Get the bats going against Montas, who I'm not particularly high on. And plus, the Yankees do hit righties much better than they do lefties. I like the over. 8.5 seems a little small with how many runs both pitchers can give up. I set my total at 9.4, so I do like the over. We got winds blowing out. It's going to be a windy day over here on the East Coast, so I like actually the total a little better. I don't want to pay that much price on a Marcus Stroman start, so I like the over a little better here.
Yeah, I was looking at the Yankees team totals go over in this game. I think that's a great look with what you mentioned about Frankie Montas, and for Marcus Stroman, he's been giving up the runs as well over his last last 5 starts. He's allowed at least 3 earned runs, and for those 5 starts, and you nailed it again that the walks continue to be an issue for him. Fortunately for Frankie Montas, his numbers are kind of going under the radar because he has that offense to back him. Because you take a look at the number of runs that the Yankees have put up in his starts, they've scored at least 8 runs in 4 of his last 5 starts, which has propelled them to the victory there. So I think Yankees bats can definitely break out here in the Bronx here. Afternoon game as well. So I think that if you want to look at a Yankees team total over, that number definitely will be 4.5 in this game. So a lot of team totals I like in the first couple games here, but I would be on the Yankees run line here.
Yankees team total is at 4.5, and the Reds team total is at 3.5.
Yeah,
both I like.
Honestly, yeah, and then that's kind of blends you into taking the over 8.5 in this game. So yeah, this might be locked territory for me here, whether it's a full game over or the Yankees team total to go over. We'll move it along here to the next game on the schedule. It'll be another 1:08 Eastern start time. The Houston Astros, they are in Toronto to take on the Blue Jays. Framber Valdez getting the start here for the Astros. Going to be Chris Bassett for the Toronto Blue Jays. Astros are a -120 road favorite here, +102 on the money line for the Blue Jays. Total is at 8.5 in this game here. And I'll lead this one off here with the Houston Astros. Framber Valdez really been a little bit inconsistent throughout this season. I know the best pitcher in my eyes for the Astros has been Ronel Blanco. Me and Mal talked about that on yesterday's episode. But it's the fact that he's also a guy that has issues giving up walks, but also over his last start against the Mets, he got absolutely blasted as well. And, we talked about it with Marcus Stroman, that he was giving up the runs, but he was getting back by the offense as well. And I think that same thing that's been happening for Framber Valdez as well, right? His last start, he allowed 6 earned runs to the Mets, but the offense of the Astros scored 9 in that game. They have won back-to-back starts. He had a phenomenal outing against the Baltimore Orioles, 7 innings, 1 earned run, 7 strikeouts. But again, the walks are an issue for Framber Valdez. I want to see how he's done against the Blue Jays in his career as well, because Blue Jays have already been on my absolutely no bet list, but it seems like their offense is starting to come around a little bit as well. So Framber Valdez in his career against the Blue Jays, 1-3 with a 4.11 ERA. Did face him earlier this season. That was back at the Juice Box back in April. 7 2/3 innings, 6 hits, no earned runs allowed in that game. Didn't have any walks. Did have 5 strikeouts in that game as well. Chris Bassett on the other side here for the Blue Jays. In his career against the Astros, he's seen him quite a bit because he was with the Oakland A's, obviously being in that same division when he was there with the Astros. Now over against with the Blue Jays, I should say, but he hasn't been too bad in his career against the Astros. A 5-4 record, 3.97 ERA. He also did face him earlier this season. And the Astros did get to him in that game, 4 1/3, 9 hits, 4 earned runs he gave up in that game. So I think this could be another game where we do see runs being put up in this game. I know he's coming off a fantastic outing against the New York Yankees, and he's been in good form right now. But this Astros offense right now is really raking, and I think there's an opportunity for them to get to Chris Bassett as well. So I lean with the over in this game here, over 8.5. As far as the side, if you had a gun to my head, I would look at the Blue Jays side here, but I don't love it. Again, I already told myself I'm not betting on the Blue Jays, especially with their inconsistencies here. What do you got, D-Rock?
Oh, I know this is crazy because I've done the same thing. They're on my do not bet list, but I got to take a shot here with them. Home puppy plus 102.
Yeah.
I actually made him a minus 105 favorite. Look, with how good Chris Bassett has been in the month of June, I think they might be live. 195 ERA, doesn't give up the long ball in the month of June. The Blue Jays just can't seem to get him any run support. That is the problem. I'd rather back him than Framber Valdez right now. Like you mentioned, he just got rocked in his last start on the road against the Mets. Actually, the past few road starts haven't been that good for Valdez. The Astros lost to the White Sox, the Giants, and the Mariners. So 2 of the 3 aren't really good hitting teams. So I know the bullpen almost blew it last night for the Blue Jays in the first game of the series, but I'd rather, instead of backing them on the full game, I'd rather eliminate the bullpens, take Blue Jays first 5. I do think Bassett can continue his dominance in the month of June, which we are in July. So I really think they could limit the bats of the Astros. So first time through the lineup, maybe second, I think the Blue Jays are alive. So I'll take the Blue Jays first 5 here.
Oh yeah, couldn't talk you off of that. I mean, you mentioned about that bullpen. Seems like they're having the same issues that the Astros were having at the beginning of the season, but seems like they've fix some of those issues right now, have the Houston Astros. All right, before we get over to the next game on the schedule, let me tell everyone about our friends over at Underdog Fantasy. Hey, look, Pick 8 is now live for Underdog Fantasy. You can create entries with up to 8 picks, and Underdog will automatically double flex entries so you can miss up to 2 picks and still win your entry. With more picks to make and extra ways to win, the excitement is higher than ever. The best part, you can win up to 325 times your original amount. You can now use specials and boosts on all flex entries as well. And don't miss your chance to try it out before it's gone. So sign up with promo code MLB SGPN to claim your special pick and first-time deposit offer up to $250 in bonus cash. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Make sure you have promo code MLB SGPN. And guys, don't forget about the greatest contest happening at the greatest sports book on the planet. That's over at Circa Sports. Circa Sports is back with Circa Survivor and Circa Millions, giving away $16 million in guaranteed prizes. Of course, Circa contests have no rake. Circa Millions pick 5 NFL teams against the spread each week and compete for $6 million or survive the NFL gauntlet to claim the $10 million prize. Sign up in person at Circa Sports between now and September 7th and use a proxy to play from anywhere. We have even a deal with footballcontestproxy.com to save you $50 off with promo code SGP. If you don't have a trip booked for Las Vegas yet before football, well, Ultimate Contest Weekend is a great time to go out. Hang out with Ryan and Sean and enjoy some of the open bar events at the greatest sportsbook in the world from August 22nd through August 24th. All right, D-Rock, let's keep it rolling here, my man. We'll go over to the next game on the schedule. We'll go over to the game between the Chicago White Sox and the Cleveland Guardians. I do see Drew Thorpe starting for the White Sox. Is that what you have, D-Rock?
Yeah, against Ben Lively.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so I see Ben Lively as well for the Guardians here. Looking at the lines for this game, the Guardians are a minus 225 home favorite, plus 188 on the money line for the Chicago White Sox. Total is at 8.5 in this game here. I'll lead it off here with Ben Lively, and he's been pretty good, to say the least, for the Cleveland Guardians on this season. 7-4 with a 3.03 ERA. You look at his numbers in Cleveland in 5 home starts, a perfect 4-0 with a 2.15 ERA. His last start came against the Kansas City Royals. Had a great outing in that game, but just the offense didn't show up for him in that game for Lively, where they did lose 2-1. And only once over his last 5 starts has he allowed more than 2 earned runs, which was against the Toronto Blue Jays. But outside of that, 2 against the Royals, 2 against the Blue Jays. He had back-to-back start against the Blue Jays, gave up 2, and then he gave up 4. Shut out the Miami Marlins, and then he also gave up 2 against the Washington Nationals. His ceiling almost is about 5 to 6 innings. Is about 5 2/3, or the 6 innings is the average that he does have. And he's been really profitable as well. You take a look at the other side, Drew Thorpe getting the start here for the Chicago White Sox on the season for him. 2-1 with a 4.43 ERA. He's been really good over his last 2 starts. Now, those 2 starts were against the Tigers and the Rockies, so I'm not sure how much you want to take away from that. But also the issue that I have with Drew Thorpe here is that he does give up a lot of walks. Over his last 4 appearances, he's given up, 12 walks to the opposition here. So I like Lively here at home. I would back him on the run line here. D-Rock -1.5. That number currently over on FanDuel is sitting at -108. I think that's a pretty good price. I know it is the home team where you're not guaranteed all 9 at bats. So you probably only get 8 at bats here, but I do think that the Guardians will roll in this game here against the White Sox here. Dylan, what do you got?
Yeah, not the prettiest play, and not going to win any awards like Malcolm says, but I agree. I do like the Guardians here on the run line -108. I just don't like this spot for Jude Thorpe. Only 4 starts this season, so small sample size, but this is going to be his biggest test. Guardians are the best team he's going to face so far this season. I don't know how long they're going to try and push the kid, but the Guardians team at home is no joke. They're averaging 5.22 runs per game at home, and if he doesn't have a good game, the bullpen's even worse. So I only like backing the White Sox at home with Garrett Crochet on the mound. Outside of that, I really have no business really backing them. Only 8 wins on the road this season. So, yeah, complete fade. I agree with you. Give me the Guardians on the run line.
Yep. All right, next game on the schedule, we'll go to the other 2 AL Central teams. That's going to be the Detroit Tigers. They are visiting the Minnesota Twins. Kenta Maeda getting the start here for the Detroit Tigers. I see Bailey Ober getting the start here for the Minnesota Twins. Twins are a -198 home favorite, +166 on the money line for the Tigers. Total is at 8.5 in this game here between these 2 squads here. D-Rock, what do you got for Twins and the Tigers?
Yeah, I'm going to go with a total for this one. Give me the over 8.5 at plus money. I made my total 9.1. I mean, the downfall of Kenta Maeda this season has been bad. I mean, he gives me no hope back in the Tigers. He gives the Tigers no real length. The bullpen has actually struggled this season. Tigers haven't won a game. Maeda has started since May 24th, 6 straight losses.
Yep.
Twins, they put together a nice 3 straight wins where they've scored 5+ runs. So they're scoring some runs here as well. The over is 7-3 in the Twins' last 10 games. And the Tigers on the road have actually been an over team, 24-19 toward the over on the road this season for Detroit. So I think both pitchers are susceptible to give up a few runs here. At plus money, I'll happily take the over.
Yeah, I think what's piquing my interest in this game, and just to expand on what you mentioned about Kenta Maeda, 6 straight losses when he started for the Tigers. 5 of those 6 losses, I believe, have came by 2 or more runs. The only game that they lost by 1 over his last 6 starts was against the Nationals, where they lost 5-4. Outside of that, 7-3, 9-1, 5-4, 4-1, 5-1, 5-2. So the offense has really not showed up either for Ken Maeda when he is making his starts. Bailey Ober has been really profitable in the first 5 innings this season for this Twins team. Just pulling up his numbers, looking at his first 5. They're actually 5-1 straight up, 5-1 on the run line in those spots there. So I think that Maeda will give it up early to the Twins, and I think Bailey Ober can coast. He did have a start earlier 2 starts, in fact, this season against the Tigers, did Bailey Ober. There were back-to-back starts back in April. He's pitched 12 innings this season against them, D-Rock, 5 hits, and only allowed 1 earned run. So first 5 run line, I think, would be a great look in this game for the Twins. Take a look at their team total to go over in this game here as well, whether it's full game or in the first 5 innings, if your book does offer that. But I do think this is a good spot here for the Twins against Ken Maeda, who, again, like we mentioned, 6 straight losses when he has started for this Tigers team. Getting over to the next game on the schedule, we'll go over down to South Beach, where the Boston Red Sox are visiting the Miami Marlins. I am seeing Nick Pivetta getting the start here. For the Boston Red Sox, and Kyle Tyler getting the start here for the Miami Marlins. Looking at the lines for this game, the Boston Red Sox are a -176 road favorite here, +148 on the money line for the Miami Marlins. Total is at 8 in this game here. D-Rock, what do you got for Marlins and Red Sox?
So I was able to get a 7.5 early in the day. I love that. That was going to be, I'll spoil it. That was going to be my lock at if it stayed at 7.5. But even at an 8, I still like the over. I'm actually surprised it opened up at a 7.5. My total came out to 8.5. So I love backing the overs here for the Red Sox when they're on the road. They're averaging around 5 runs per game on the road, while the Fish surprisingly enough, they're averaging around 4.1 runs per game at home, over 7-3 in the Red Sox last 10 games, including 4 of their last 5. And the Fish have been an over machine at home, 29-13 towards the over. I don't know if it's necessarily their offense, might be them giving up a lot of runs, but regardless, they've been an over team in Miami. Nick Pivetta gives up a ton of hard contact. He's given up 3+ runs in 4 straight games as well. I think we're going to see a very high-scoring game here. So I do think the Red Sox are the right side. A little overpriced, in my opinion, but I do like the over here. So I'm going to go there.
Yeah, I can talk you off. I mean, you mentioned the numbers there for the Marlins at home, and Nick Pivetta has also the crazy part is he's been better at on the road, I should say, than at home at Fenway Park. 5.52 ERA at Fenway Park, 3.62 on the road. But like Dylan mentioned, that he's given up the run. So again, yeah, I couldn't talk you off over. I think we see runs all throughout the series here, and I don't want to lay that minus 176 price.
No.
With Nick Pivetta and the Boston Red Sox at him. So I would pivot towards the over 8 in this game between the Red Sox and the Marlins. All right, before we continue the conversation here for the Thursday card here for July 4th, let me tell everyone about our friends over at Rhythm. If you're betting on player props, and you need to check out Rhythm. Rhythm is a go-to sports betting tool that transforms complex data into actionable insights, empowering bettors with smarter, data-driven decisions. Unlike other platforms, Rhythm combines advanced predictive analytics with an intuitive user experience, making betting both easy and enjoyable. Rhythm's predictive models were born from the brains of MIT data scientists and quants with over 3 years of data that help drive you to better AI-backed betting decisions. So claim your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. All right, let's continue handicapping this card here for July 4th. We'll get over to the next game on the schedule. We've got the Philadelphia Phillies. They are in Chicago to take on those Cubbies. Christopher Sanchez gets the start here for the Phillies. It's going to be Jameson Taillon for the Chicago Cubs. Phillies are a minus 126 road favorite here, plus 108 on the money line for the Chicago Cubs. Total is set at 7.5 in this game here. And I'll start by saying this, that Christopher Sanchez has been absolutely fantastic. I don't think he's been talked about enough of how well he's been pitching this season for this Phillies team. This rotation has been absolutely phenomenal for the Phillies, where you talk about their 2 studs at the top with Wheeler and Nola. Ranger Suarez has been fantastic. I know he had a bad start in there. And then Christopher Sanchez, who's been really good throughout the entirety of the season. On the season, 6-3 with a 2.41 ERA. The part that's making me nervous about this game for him is that he is coming off of a complete game shutout against the Miami Marlins. And typically, we sometimes see those pitchers get into a little bit of trouble in the following start. But I think to his advantage in this is that he's going up against the Cubs, whose offense has not been very good, to say the least, this season and over the past month plus. But I mean, he allowed more 1 earned run or less in 4 of his last 5 starts. He's coming off a back-to-back shutout, 16 innings, 0 earned runs, 13 strikeouts, and no walks for Christopher Sanchez. So he's absolutely doing phenomenal right now for this Phillies lineup. Jameson Taillon on the other side gets to start here, 4-4 on the season with a 3.03 ERA, and he's been pretty good over his last 4 starts as well. He's gone at least 6 innings in his last 4 starts. He's allowed a total of, 6 earned runs in that span. The thing about Jameson Taillon is that he does not have favorable number against the Phillies. In his career, he's 1-4 with an 8.67 ERA. Did face his team twice last season. D-Rock, 7 1/3 inning in those games. He allowed 11 earned runs in those 2 starts, 13 hits, 4 home runs that he did give up. But we know that our missing Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber are the Philadelphia Phillies. But I can't get away from Christopher Sanchez, how dominant he has been. I feel like this is a cheap price on him. Minus 126 on the money line. I would look at it only that way for the Phillies in this game here. D-Rock, what do you got?
He has the 9th best odds for Cy Young right now at 45-1. I think that's a little mispriced, if I'm being honest.
So, yeah.
Zach Wheeler, they have 3 in the top 9. Zach Wheeler at plus 195, he leads. Ranger Suarez at plus 700, and then Christopher Sanchez at 45-1. That's insane. I hate that for the Mets. But yeah, we're getting here short number with the Phillies, minus 126 on the money line. I like them. I made him a minus 135 favorite. Like you mentioned, Christopher Sanchez, he's looked great in the month of June. Only one poor start, but outside of that, he gives the Phillies good length. He doesn't give up the long ball. Walks aren't an issue. I hate it, but he is the real deal. And now going up against a Cubs team who struggled to score runs at home, just 3.8 runs per game at home, I think Christopher Sanchez is going to shut them down. I can't get behind the Cubs right now until their offense is fixed. It's hard to honestly watch them. Whenever I put on a Cubs game to watch them, if I bet against them or on them, they're a hard watch right now. I mean, they just can't get it runs across the board right now. So I love the discounted price we're getting here with the Phillies. So I know I usually like to fade guys coming off a stellar start like that, but it's the Cubs at the end of the day. So yeah, give me the Phillies here.
Yeah. I know Trevor mentioning in the chat that
it might be a trap, honestly.
It could be. I think this is a little bit fishy. We'll see if some money comes in, but I also think that it may be priced in that they don't have Harper and Schwarber in the lineup. I don't know if you've seen any wind direction just yet for this game here.
So
D-Rock.
It's going to be a nice day tomorrow at Wrigley. 83, wind blowing in actually about 7 miles in. So not too crazy, but it's going to be a nice day at Wrigley.
Yeah, and I think there's some respect for Taillon there as well, especially the recent
100%.
form that he's been in, right? So I feel like this price is a little justified. We'll see what the overnight line does. I think money came in on the Cubs, in fact, with Zach Wheeler on the mound on Wednesday for this Phillies team. So we'll see how it pans out. But if I have to fall for the trap, especially with the form that Sanchez has been in, I'll fall for that trap here, unfortunately. All right, next game on the schedule here for the Thursday card. Let me get back to my screen here. We'll go over to the let's go down to Texas, over in Arlington. We've got the San Diego Padres. They are taking on the Texas Rangers. I do see Michael King getting the start here for the Padres, and it'll be Max Scherzer for the Texas Rangers. Looking at the lines for this game, I'm seeing the Rangers are a minus 124 home favorite, plus 106 on the money line for the Padres. Total is at 8.5 in this game for this, between the Padres and the Rangers here. D-Rock, what do you got for this game?
Yeah, whatever's gotten into the Rangers in their bats the last couple of games, I hope it continues because that's what this team has been missing all season. 18 runs in the past 2 games has been a nice surprise to see from this offense. And I'm hoping it can continue because I do like the Rangers here, minus 124. My numbers made him a minus 145 favorite here. I do think Scherzer is the better pitcher, even though he's only had 2 starts. I do think he's in better form than Michael King. Michael King hasn't been terrible, but I don't know what happened to the bats as of late. After their winning streak ended, the bats have kind of regressed. Only 1 run scored their past 2 games. Maybe some regression coming for the bats a little bit, but, it seems like these 2 teams are going in opposite directions. So I think Scherzer's going to do a good job here limiting the bats of a struggling Padres lineup at home. I think this is a good spot for the Rangers. We're getting a lot of buy low situations here for Thursday. So I'm going to take another, I guess, maybe trap, but I'm going to take the Rangers here.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Rangers. Scherzer has looked pretty good in his first 2 starts back. And they were against quality opponents, right? It was the Royals, It was the Orioles, and he only allowed a combined 2 earned runs. I think that if you want to back the Rangers, you're maybe doing the first 5 innings because it seems like there's going to be a cap on Max Scherzer kind of easing his way back in because he's gone. Maybe there's a pitch count, but it seems like he's only about going 5 innings here, at least in the first 2 starts. So it's something that we'll keep an eye on as, he gets more starts under his belt. I think the timing of him coming back as well, D-Rock, I think it's phenomenal for this Rangers team because he's going to get a couple starts under his belt before the All-Star break. That gives him some rest, and then coming back and, if he can do Max Scherzer things for the second half of the season, this Rangers team could possibly make a run. Not in that AL West division where I feel like it's still a little wide open, but also possibly for a playoff spot as well. And like you mentioned, the offense as well. At some point, they're going to get these guys back and they're going to start raking again. So that's something that we'll keep an eye on here for the Texas Rangers. But I'm right there with you. with Scherzer. I'm going to play this in the first 5. I'm going to take the bullpen out of it for the Rangers and just back Scherzer in that spot. Michael King has been really good as well on the season, right? 6-5, 3.61 ERA. Just taking a look at his road numbers here quickly. He's even been better on the road. Has Michael King 5-2 in 9 starts, 2.84 ERA. But again, I want to stay with the hot team here, which is going to be the Rangers and Max Scherzer. So I'll play them on the money line -124.
Real quick,
Yeah.
Munaf. They're only 7 games out of first place. Mariners are kind of struggling. We know Houston, they're one of the hottest teams right now. They're only 3 games out. This is a wide open division. I couldn't agree more. I think Max Scherzer coming back about a month before the All-Star break, get some reps in. And before you know it, late August, here comes Jacob deGrom. So that's the last thing that anybody wants to face either. So, yeah, I think these last week and a half before the All-Star break, they're very crucial for the Texas Rangers.
Yeah. When did you say that deGrom may be back?
They said late August, early September. So we'll see.
He's still got a ways to go.
Yeah,
but we'll see if he's able to even return to that form for the New York Mets.
Do you think he'll ever be the same?
You know, I want to see, first of all, how old is Jacob deGrom? Because I feel like he's been around for a very long time.
He has.
But he was just so good. Like when he was with the Mets, like it was just like he wasn't getting a run. So he's already 36 years old. So
yeah,
it's like, how many more years does he have left? Maybe 2 more years of
if that.
Great Jacob deGrom, but he hasn't pitched a whole lot as well. So maybe that could extend him a little bit. But yeah, we'll see if he's able to return to. I mean, but they don't really need him to return to like Mets
October.
peak form, right? It's like they need him like to be healthy for October, like you mentioned. So we'll see what happens with deGrom. I mean, it would be great to see him back on the field, but again, as an Astros fan, I don't want to see him back at all. So we'll see what happens with Jacob deGrom. All right, next game on the schedule, we'll go to the West Coast. Let's get over to the LA Angels against the Oakland A's. Looking at the lines and pitchers for this game, I'm saying Contreras getting the start here for the Angels will be JP Sears for the Oakland A's. A's are a -120 home favorite here, +102 on the money line for the Angels. Excuse me, total is at 8.5 in this game here. And I'll lead it off here with JP Sears. It's kind of been, I want to say he's been Mal's guy, JP Sears, for the A's. But on the season, 4-7 with a 5.00 ERA. I mean, we know that he's going to give up the runs for this Oakland A's team. He's allowed at least 3 earned runs in 4 straight starts. Not a strikeout guy. He does walk a lot of batters as well. Did come off a pretty good start in his last start in Arizona, where the A's actually got the victory 9-4 in that game. But he gave up 8 earned runs to the Minnesota Twins in his previous start, 4 earned runs to the Twins again back on Saturday, June the 16th. Gave up 3 against the Padres, 2 against the Seattle Mariners. So he is prone to giving up runs when he is out there for the Oakland A's. For the LA Angels, Roste Contreras, I should say, seems like he's only a spot starter here. He went 3 innings in his last start, which was against this Oakland A's team. Gave up 1 earned run, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts in that game. They did get the victory 5-2. So you probably only expect him to be out there for a couple innings here for this Angels rotation. And then you see the bullpen come in and get in the bulk of the innings there. I couldn't talk you off of over in this game, honestly. I think JP Sears does give up some runs within the first 5 innings. If it is a 4.5, I would look at the over. But other than that, I really didn't have a opinion or a side that I preferred at least full game. But I think these 2 pitchers can give up some runs early in the game. I'll go over 4.5. But what do you got for this game here, D-Rock?
Yeah, didn't have a lot on this game. Probably won't be betting it, but for the show, I do lean A's here. Athletics, excuse me. I made them a -125 favorite, so we're kind of right at my number. They did take the first game of the series on Monday. One of the main reasons I like them on Thursday is because, it would kind of be like you mentioned, it's kind of be a bullpen day for the Angels. And if you keep track of bullpen numbers, the Angels have one of the worst bullpens in the league. So
Yep.
I know the Angels, they've been playing much better recently, but they're still under 500 on the road. I do like JP Sears just a little. I might be higher on him than most, but I do think the A's with their bats, I think they could take advantage of this bullpen. So nothing concrete, but I do lean the A's here at home.
Yeah. Just looking at some of the comments here, Gio asking if a money line parlay, MVP parlay for Otani and Judge makes sense. It's
At
long
minus
odds right now.
122, definitely not.
Yeah, I don't like it, especially at the
No,
minus price. And the one injury, God forbid, to either one of
it's
those
over.
guys,
Yeah.
it's over for you. So I understand that they are long odds right now. Obviously, what Otani's been able to do, just going across the city to to the Dodgers and Aaron Judge. It was funny that everybody was talking about, oh, is Aaron Judge down? Because I think it was a month of, was it April or May, where he had a really
It was
bad May.
Yeah.
But the month of June, he is absolutely just crushing the baseball right now. And I think his numbers have been better this season, D-Rock, than though at this point of the season when he actually won the MVP for the New York Yankees. So, yeah, I number one, I don't like parlaying in general, like futures odds, but especially at a minus price, I wouldn't be able to do it. But again, if those guys stay healthy, they are the front runners for a reason there. But at least for my bankroll, I don't want to lay that minus price at minus 120. And again, it could win, especially with the way these two guys have been hitting the baseball right now.
100% it could win. First of all, I agree. I'm not a future guy. I don't like tying my money up, especially in baseball where it's like a 7 to 8 month window. Yeah. That's one. Two, they are the favorite. Honestly, would look at Juan Soto. I mean, if they continue, they get the 1 seed. Juan Soto at 16-1. He's having just as good of a year as Aaron Judge is as well. Maybe Jose Ramirez at 40-1. That's what I like to do when we're doing the MVP or the Cy Young. I like long shots because it's worth some value, in my opinion. And Shohei, he's minus 250. I do think he'll win the MVP. But honestly, I thought if he didn't get hurt and he continued, and because I do think they might get the 1 seed, Bryce Harper at plus 850, I think is live.
Yeah, I picked Bryce Harper at the beginning of the season for him to win MVP. Obviously with the injury now, but thankfully it's nothing serious. It's just a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I'm the Phillies, I would just keep him out through the All-Star break and just have him get ready for the second half of the season, because those hamstring injuries, regardless of which sport you honestly play, that it can really get tricky. But like you mentioned right now with the MVP odds, I think Otani eventually probably does run away with it, especially with Mookie Betts being out for extended amount of time. It's just going to be very tough. And then you look at the next guy on the list, it's Freddie Freeman at 7-1, his own teammate there. That's second favorite. So that's tell you how dominant those guys are for the Dodgers. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Next game on the schedule, we've got the Baltimore Orioles. They are in Seattle to take on the Mariners. Corbin Burns going to start here for the Baltimore Orioles. It will be Bryce Miller for the Seattle Mariners. The Orioles are a minus 154 road favorite here, plus 130 on the money line for the Mariners. Total is at 7 in this game here. D-Rock, what do you got for Burns and Miller?
Yeah, I get the Orioles being the favorite here with Burns on the mound. They're ace, but this big of a favorite is ridiculous in my opinion. I only made the Orioles a minus 120 favorite. Plus 130 for one of the best teams at home is insane to me. I get the fact Mariners, they've kind of been struggling. They're not playing the best baseball, especially offensively, not scoring a bunch of runs. But at this price, I have to take a flyer here on the Mariners. If you're going to catch Burns slipping, it's going to be on the road, but at home he's been lights out. But on the other side, Bryce Mitchell, I think he's been really good so far for the Mariners, especially at home. 1.99 ERA, batters only hitting a $1.69 off of him. I agree with the total 7.7. My total was at 6.9, so it's right there. I do agree. Total seems spot on, but I think we see a lower scoring game. And usually when it's a lower scoring game like that, kind of like football, it kind of correlates to taking the points in the underdog. I think the Mariners here are live. If Bryce Miller could give you a really good outing, I think they're going to be live here. So plus 130 is ridiculous.
Yeah, Corbin Burns has been really good to me this season, but it's also the fact that Bryce Miller like you mentioned, the home and road splits for him have been absolutely mind-boggling. He's been dominant in Seattle. The under 7-2 in his 9
Yeah.
home starts this season. 6-3 towards the under in the first 5. I think this series I was really excited to, if you're a guy that likes watching great pitching matchups, like this series from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Sorry, I should say Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, are going to be fantastic. So I'm just gonna back the under. I feel like honestly, the first team to maybe 3 runs is probably going to win this game. Um, and you got to respect Corbin Burns, like you mentioned, right? He's been lights out in Camden Yards, and it's just been slightly worse, which is not even bad for him on the road, where he's 4-2, and his ERA still sub 3 on the
Yeah.
road here. So I was gonna sit back, bet the under in this game. Hopefully, it's a 2-hour game where somebody wins 2-1 or 1-0
Yeah.
or 2-0. So I do like the under in this game between
I think in Mariners games at home, you just have to blindly bet the under, especially if you get 7.5s or 8s. 28-13 at home towards the under. It's insane.
And also, they haven't just been very good hitting the baseball. I mean, they
No.
just don't have a lot of guys in that lineup that scare you, right? And I think
No.
J-Rod is also having a down year for this Seattle Mariners team. Like the home run numbers haven't been them for me as well. And I think this would be a guy that I would expect to bat at minimum above 280, 290, maybe close to 300 here. So,
and they strike out a lot.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing for this team. Like they've been consistently striking out a whole heck of a lot. I was watching the Mariners game sometime last week, and some of these guys that come up, they just swing at pitches that are just like not even close.
It's not even close. I was watching last week. I think it was the weekend. It was against Bailey Oburn. His strikeout prop was like 6.5. I said,
yeah,
they're last in the league. They struck out 11 times.
Yeah.
It's just an over. So
just imagine what Corbin Burns is going to be able to do against this team as well. So
yeah,
we'll see. Yeah. All right, let's get over to the next game on the schedule. We'll go over to Atlanta, where the San Francisco Giants are visiting the Braves. Looking at the pitching matchup in this game, we got Logan Webb on the mound here for the Giants. It'll be Uncle Charlie Morton for the Atlanta Braves. It's minus 108 on both sides on the money line. Total in this game is set at 8.5 here. I'll start here with Charlie Morton on the mound here for the Braves. Like I mentioned, on the season for Morton, 5-4 with a 3.89 ERA. Coming off a pretty good start here against, or not a pretty good start, but a great start against the Pittsburgh Pirates. 6 1/3 innings, 0 earned runs, 7 strikeouts in that game. You take a look at his splits on the season: at home, 3.55 ERA, on the road, 4.27. The thing about Morton, it's been over the past, I don't know, last 6-7 starts. It's like he's alternating between a great start and he has a bad start in there. This dates back to back in May against the Nationals, 8 earned runs, bounced back against the A's in the next start. Against the Nationals, had a bad start, bounced back against the Rays in a great start, had a bad start against the Yankees, bounced back very nicely against the Pirates. So I'm not sure if this Giants team really makes me nervous with their offense against Charlie Morton. But on the other side, Logan Webb is the guy that this season hasn't been very Logan Webb, I should say. 6-6, 3.12 ERA. He'll give up a couple runs, but again, he's been very consistent about going at least 6 to 7 innings for this Giants team. I'll lean here with the Giants here, D-Rock. And I do like the under in this game as well. I think both these pitchers can go along well here. If there's a guy that possibly does blow up, it's probably, in my eyes, going to be Charlie Morton. He doesn't have great career numbers against him as well, where Logan Webb has been pretty good in his career against this Braves team, 2-0 with a 3.05 ERA. And I want to see how many starts that's been in, but he has 35 strikeouts in his career against the Atlanta Braves team. And right now, the offense has also been a little bit inconsistent for this Braves team. So I would look at the under, lean towards the Giants.
Yeah, over on FanDuel, I see 8.5, so I would lean under. I made my total 7.9. I agree on the under. Yeah, this is another game I really don't like a lot. I do lean the Braves here. I got minus 108. I made them a minus 115 favorite. Where has this offense gone for the Braves?
Yeah.
If it's not one thing, it's another. If their bats are hot, their pitching stinks. But when their pitching's on, the bats go cold. So, I know this might not be the best spot to back the Braves, but Logan Webb, I think it's a repetitive thing at this point, but he's just a much different pitcher than he is on the road than he is at home. He's given up 2+ runs in 5 of his last 6 road starts. And in those 5 road starts, the Giants won. They lost, excuse me. They lost. You got to imagine the Braves break out eventually. I want to be on the right side when they do, because like the Rangers we talked about, you got to imagine the Braves are going to figure it out offensively. And Uncle Charlie at home in the month of June was amazing. Just 1 run given up in 18 innings at home in the month of June. So I agree on the under. Slightly into the Braves here. I think they bounce back.
Yeah, and again, the lines are indicating that, right? It's almost essentially a pick 'em right now in this game between these two teams. All right, let's keep it moving here. Next game on the schedule will go to a 8:11 Eastern start time. The Milwaukee Brewers, they are in Colorado to take on the Rockies. Tobias Myers getting the start here for the Brewers, and it'll be Cal Quantrill for the Colorado Rockies. Looking at the lines for this game, Brewers minus 148 on the money line, plus 126 for the Colorado Rockies. Total is at 10.5 in this game between these two squads here. D-Rock, you want to lead us off?
Yeah, I'm going to take a shot here with another home dog. Give me the Rockies plus 126. I only made the Brewers a minus 120 favorite. Sorry, Trev. Tough last start over the weekend for Myers, where I did back him against the Cubs. And to be honest, I don't know about you guys, but I think Cal Quantrill is just a tad better than Myers at this point. If not, they're kind of the same pitchers. So instead of, trusting that Rockies bullpen, which is just awful, maybe take them in the first 5+1/2 or straight up on the money line as a dog. I think we're going to see a nice bounce back start here from Cal Quantrill. He had a poor performance in his last start against the White Sox. And the Rockies, they've been competitive in this series. They won the first game on Tuesday. They only lost the other game, the second game, by 1 run. So I expect another tight game. I like the over. I set my total at 10.9, so I do like the over. I think we'll see some runs. But if Cal has his stuff going tomorrow night, I think the Rockies are alive, especially in the first 5. So I like the full game, but if you want to eliminate the bullpens, I get it. But I'm going to take the home puppy here.
Yeah, I think that I did like the Brewers team total in this game to go over. It's just Cal Quantrill, at least recent form. It's just really on this one game where he had a bad start, which was his last start against the White Sox. Gave up 5 earned runs, 5 1/3. Still have 8 strikeouts in that game. You take over his last 3 starts, it's been at least 14 or more runs scored in this last 3 starts. 14 combined with the White Sox, 15 with the Nationals, 14 with the Dodgers. And the Rockies offense has also held their own, like you mentioned, as well in these first 2 games of this series. But again, I think that there's an opportunity for runs in this game. I quickly want to see what the over-under is in Cal Quantrill's home starts thus far this season. Not much there. It's only 3 and 4 towards the under. But the last 4 games have gone over in his starts at home in particular. Yeah, I'll lean with the over. Didn't really have much in this game. I could see runs being put up, but again, Brewers at minus 148 again doesn't really excite me for this game. If you like the Brewers, I'd probably go -1 if your book does offer that, or even the run line in this game. All right, next game on the schedule, we'll go over to another 8:11 Eastern start time. The Tampa Bay Rays, they are in Kansas City to take on the Royals. Zach Eflin getting the start here for the Rays. It'll be Alec Marsh for the Kansas City Royals. Tampa Bay Rays are a -134 road favorite here, plus 114 on the money line for the Royals. Total is set at 8.5 in this game here. And I'll start here with Zach Eflin. And I've mentioned this a lot of times on this podcast, is that anytime I see Zach Eflin on the road, it's that time that I do want to fade Zach Eflin. You take a look at his numbers this season. At the Trop in Tampa Bay, 6 home starts, 3-1 with a 2.43 ERA. 9 road starts this season, 1-4 with a 5.01 ERA. So his ERA is nearly double or it is double, more than double on the road thus far this season. And I understand that Alec Marsh hasn't been that great. We've seen flashes of him where he can be that guy. He had a great start against the Yankees. I mean, go figure, 7 shutout innings, 7 strikeouts in that game. In his last start, he was brilliant as well against the Guardians, 6 innings, 1 earned run, 5 strikeouts. Did face this Tampa Bay Rays team. I think it was earlier this season, or it may have been last year. Let me just take a quick peek here. Yeah, it was last season, right around this time, actually in the month of July. 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 earned runs that he gave up. And both of the runs that he did give up, Dylan, they were solo home runs, but he also had 11 strikeouts in this game. I have no idea why Zach Eflin is favored here. Give me the home puppy here. Give me plus 114 on the Kansas City Royals here, D-Rock.
Yeah, couldn't agree more, Munaf. I'm taking him. I got plus 118, but any plus money, I made him a minus 130 favorite. I don't understand why they're the underdogs. Alex Marsh has been solid at home, 4-1 with a 3.30 ERA, whereas Zach Eflin, like you mentioned, whenever he is on the road, it's like a little check. We are going to fade him. 1-4 with an over 5 ERA. And I think the Royals, they have to come out and be aggressive here offensively against Eflin. They have to be better with the bats. They have the better starting pitcher. Both bullpens are kind of shaky a little bit, but you know what has the Rays? My question is what has the Rays done to be this big of a favorite on the road? I can't think of anything. I feel like the line is wrong. So another one, it might be a trap, but I'm gonna fall for it. I think the Royals are the right side.
Yeah, let me just take a look quickly what Zach Eflin has done on the road here this season as far as what the Rays have been able to do. Let's see. 5-4 straight up. Yeah, I mean, when you take a look, it's been Angels, White Sox, Brewers, Marlins, Pirates, Braves, Blue Jays. I mean, it hasn't been world beaters. So, yeah, I'll take the plus money here for the Royals. I think this line is absolutely wrong team favorite for sure. All right. Last game on the schedule is going to be the Arizona Diamondbacks. They are in LA to take on the Dodgers. Zach Gallen getting the start here for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Going to be Landon Knack for the LA Dodgers. Dodgers are a minus 146 home favorite, plus 124 on the money line for the Arizona Diamondbacks. Total is at 8.5 in this game here. D-Rock closes out strong.
Yeah, another one. Not the most confident in, but I'm going to lean over 8.5 here, minus 110. Not much I like for this game. I only made the Dodgers a minus 140 favorite. And to be honest, I have no interest in backing the Snakes here, even with Gallen on the bump. If anything, like I said, I would lean over, maybe a team total over for the Dodgers. My total came out to 8.8. Dodgers, they've been an over team this season at home, 22-18 towards the over. They've gone over this number in 3 straight games. And if you look at the recent games between these two clubs, a lot of it was high-scoring games, 6-5, 7-3, 6-4. So, you know, I think these two are just going to be involved in a lot of high-scoring games this whole season. Plus, in LA, we're going to have winds blowing out towards center field, so that should help carry the ball a little bit. So I do think the Dodgers are the right side. I just don't want to lay that kind of chalk with them, but I lean over here.
Yeah, I could talk you off. Zach Gallen, in fact, in his career on the road in 6 appearances against the Dodgers, 0-4 with a 4.29 ERA. Did face him twice last season at Dodger Stadium. He went 10 innings combined in those 2 starts. D-Rock, he allowed 11 earned runs. In 1 game, he gave up 4 home runs to the Dodgers. And I know they're missing, key guys in the lineup there as well. But like you mentioned, they've been an over team. Walks are also concerned for Zach Gallen against the Dodgers as well. And then again, I don't want to take too much away from his first start back after the off of the IL. It was against the Oakland A's where they won 3-0. But Landon Knack has actually been pretty good in his starts there for the Dodgers. He hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs over his last 5 appearances for this team, but the offense just hasn't been there. So, yeah, I'll look at a Dodgers team total like you mentioned there as well. I'll be on the Dodgers side here as well for this game against the Diamondbacks. All right, D-Rock, let's get into our lock and dog for the July 4th card, and then we'll get into our home run picks for July 4th as well. You want to lead us off with your lock and dog?
Yeah, so I was going to take the total if it stayed at 7.5, but I'm going to take the team total over for the Mets, 4.5. Mets have been on fire. Like I said, they're averaging 5.74 runs per game on the road this season. Last 5 games, 34 runs. Don't think this is a good spot for Jake Irvin. I think they're going to continue to crush the ball. So team total over for the Mets as my lock. And as my dog, I gave out a couple home puppies today. Don't know which one I want to go with, though. I really want to take the Mariners, but the Orioles are a really good team. I will go with the Royals here. I just think the odds makers got this one wrong. Hanging a plus 115 or 118, whatever you're able to get with the Royals at home with Alec Marsh on the mound versus Zach Eflin on the road. I think we got to take that every time, and we'll live with the result. If they burn us, so be it. But I don't think they will. Give me the Royals here, plus 115 at home as my dog.
All right. For my lock, couple option as well. To like the Guardians on the run line. Mention the Rangers as well. Did you have a Twins team total available to you on ESPN Bet?
Yeah, I'll dig it up. Let me just log into the app real quick.
Yeah, I Ken Maeda on the road here, especially during the day. I mean, he's been an absolute gas can, and he's been really, really good to me when I've faded him throughout the season, especially on the road. So Twins team total should be 4.5, maybe a little bit of juice.
Yeah, 4.5 at minus 120.
Yeah, so I'll give you that as my log. Twins team total over 4.5 against Ken Maeda. Just going to continue fading him on the road. I'll keep it simple there. For my dog, I agree with what you said about the Royals. I think that's just wrong team favored. I'm going to go with the Rangers on the run line. I think Max Scherzer can go out and have a fantastic outing in this game. I don't see a minus 1.5 available for the Rangers right now because it's at plus 1.5, even though they are favored. But again, minus 1.5 would definitely be at a nice plus price for this Rangers team. And I know they're the home team. You don't get all 9 at bats. But I think Scherzer goes along well here. I think the bats can get to Michael King as well, who I know has been better on the road, but I think it's a good opportunity for the Rangers in this afternoon game behind Max Scherzer. So I'll take the Rangers minus 1.5 plus that money on the Rangers run line to get it done as the dog of the day for myself. All right, let's close it out strong here. I'll make Mal happy and go with dingers for the July 4th card. Should be some great opportunities here for home runs, especially with warmer temperatures throughout the day and us having games starting very, very early here at D-Rock. But where are you taking us for your player to hit a home run?
Are we actually going to cave in and give it to Mal? Is this the official name?
No, this is not the official name. I'll just make them happy and use it because I think somebody else also tweeted they wanted, or not tweeted, left a comment and said they wanted me to hear say it at least once. So I'll make them happy and I'll say it once.
I know when I record with him and when I say it and he says he smiles up like a little kid, it makes him so happy. But all right, for my dinger, I'm going to go to that Blue Jays and Astros game, and I'm going to go with Yordan Alvarez to hit home run over Chris Bassett. First time against him in the season, he had 2 in 1 game, and Alvarez in his career has had a lot of success over Chris Bassett. 444, he's hitting 8 hits, and 5 of those hits are home runs. Bassett's allowed 8 home runs on this season, and 7 of those 8 have come against lefties. Yordan, he has 18 long balls on the season, and 14 of 18 have come against righty. He's hit a home run in each of the first 2 games this series. Let's make it 3 for 3. Give me Yordan Alvarez. He's on fire right now.
Love it. I'm going to go over to it's either the Yankees game or just double down and just fade Kent Maeda. And I'm not sure who I can trust on the side for the Twins. So yeah, I'll go over to the Yankees game. I'm gonna go. Probably gonna have to go chalky here. I'll go Juan Soto to hit a home run off of Frankie Montas. I know he hasn't faced him in his career, but I think there's an opportunity again for a right-handed pitcher going up against Juan Soto. I know Juan Soto has been really good against left-handed pitching as well, but you have that short porch out in right field. I know you're all too familiar with it, D-Rock being, a freaking visitor of Yankee Stadium, but I think this is an opportunity where I think the offense does break down. And I wouldn't be surprised if Judge leaves a yard, Juan Soto leaves a yard, and they put up a whole bunch of runs, do the Yankees in this game. So I'll go with Juan Soto to hit one over the fence for the Yankees on Thursday afternoon against the Reds and Frankie Montas. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this July 4th edition of the MLB Gambling Podcast. Dylan, anything else you want to mention before we get out of here?
No, just everyone have a good holiday, be safe, and enjoy some baseball. We got baseball all day.
Yeah, 100%. Hopefully we're able to find some winners here for the card on July 4th. And, and while you're enjoying your time with your loved ones, family, friends, coworkers, whatever the case might be, that we were able to find you some winners and make some extra money in your pockets. We'll be back on Thursday, in fact, tomorrow with Mal and I believe Dylan are back tomorrow to get through the Friday card. So look out for us then. Same time, same place. Hopefully find some more winners. Make sure you guys follow Dylan on Twitter. That's at Rock with 2 Ks, ROCKK24. You can follow me there as well at SportsNerd824. And if you haven't already subscribed to the MLB Gambling Podcast YouTube channel, please go ahead and do so. We'd love to have you guys subscribed. And of course, please leave us a rating and review as well, whether you listen on Spotify, Apple, wherever the case might be for our podcast here. All right, we'll be back tomorrow. Like I mentioned, till then, enjoy the 4th of July, and we'll talk to you guys down the road.